Janice and I hope you're all doing well. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. From professional websites for your business to online store, Squarespace is everything you need to turn your idea into a reality, but more on this a little bit later. So in today's video, we are starting off in my kitchen. Reason being, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of cooking today. So in the past, I've made cooking videos where I pick one ingredient and I make a bunch of different dishes based on that ingredient. So I've done it for Spam, I've done it for canned tuna, I've done it for eggplant. And as you may already be able to guess, based on the title of my video, we are going to be using canned corn today. So we're going to be making five to six different dishes just using canned corn. We'll see how much time we have. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on to the first dish for this video. This is something that comes to mind. I mean, it comes to my mind anyway. Whenever I think of a corn dish, it is corn fritters. So what you're gonna need is just corn kernels. I just got it from a can. Then you need some flour, you need some red or green capsicum. I chose the red one because those ones I find are typically more sweeter. Coriander, some green onions, some jalapeños. If you like spice, I'm gonna add a little bit because I just want, like, you know, a little bit of a kick to it. Some minced garlic, smoked paprika, salt, pepper, eggs, and then oil for frying it. I've set it up here, so you're gonna get a close up as I speak, and then, yeah. Okay, let's get started on cooking. So mince up some garlic and chop up some coriander. Before dicing up your spring onions, your capsicum, your jalapeno peppers, I left all the seeds out. And there you have it, everything you need all chopped up. Then add 1 cup of flour into a mixing bowl, or just put a normal bowl if you don't have a mixing bowl. Add some salt, some pepper, a bit of smoked paprika, and mix it around a little. Put that aside for now and then whisk up an egg. And once that's done, bring your flour mixture back into the picture and add your egg into the flour mixture before adding a cup of water to it as well, and then give it a good mix around. I may have added a tad bit too much water, but it turned out okay. Then to this mixture, add your chopped ingredients to it, your capsicum, your coriander, spring onions, minced garlic, and then add in a cup of corn and give everything a really good mix. Kind of like this, and then we're ready to cook. Add some oil to a pan and then try and scoop the corn fritter batter into a round shape when you put this into the pan. I flipped them after about 30 seconds to 45 seconds, but obviously, as you can tell, I flipped it too early. So I left it in until they looked a little bit like this. It really depends on how big your fritter batter is, so just keep an eye out on how it looks. Then I took it out of the pan, rested it on a paper towel to soak up all the oil before adding in some garlic aioli. Alright, my first corn dish is done. Please excuse the mess in the back. Please excuse my hair. But this has corn, it has coriander, spring onions, capsicum, jalapenos, and I also had some, we have some garlic aioli on the side. Okay, let's try. I'm really excited to try this. It's not bad at all. I think I just need some, like, I think I need more salt and pepper in, like, that corn batter thing. But otherwise, this is pretty good. It's pretty good with the garlic aioli as well. I think it'd be fine with just lemon juice as well. Okay, I'm gonna finish this off and then we're gonna move on to our second dish for today. This is something that you typically see at Korean barbecue on the side. It is the Korean cheese corn. We'll be back in just a sec. Well, immediately actually, because I'm just gonna cut everything out and slot that right in. Okay. And we are back. We're now gonna make the Korean corn cheese, and what we'll need is corn, obviously, unsalted butter, mayonnaise, sugar, salt and pepper to taste, cheese, and also thinly sliced green onions. Let's get to it. So with the benefit of hindsight, I have now learned that the type of cheese you get is very important for this dish. Make sure you get mozzarella cheese, and this is just the very basic ingredients. First, grab your can of corn and drain it. Try to make sure it's as dry as possible. Then grab your tub of unsalted butter. Take about a tablespoon of butter and put it into your pan, and then pour in your corn and try to spread it evenly, and then give it a good stir. Add some salt and pepper, and once that's done, get your mayonnaise and add a generous dollop of this, about 1.5 tablespoons, into your corn, and then give that a good mix. This is starting to smell pretty good. It might not be the most healthy, but it smells really tasty. Anyway, once it's bubbling up like this, add 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, give it a good mix, and you are now ready for your cheese. Now make sure you get mozzarella cheese and be generous with it. That is definitely not enough, so add more and more and more. And when it's got an adequate amount of cheese, put it in the oven at 200 degrees for about 10 minutes. While it's in the oven, chop up some spring onions. I personally love spring onions, so I chopped up quite a bit. And before you know it, 10 minutes is up. The pan is ready to be taken out. This cheese is melty. It's also very, very hot, and it smells very, very delicious. Now add some spring onions on top. Look at this. Check out this cheesy, creamy corn. It's not the most healthy thing to eat, but it's so, so creamy. Okay, the cheese corn is now done. I know I can't have too much of this, but it smells so good. I'm really tempted. I mean, I have to try it for the camera anyway. So, okay, this is a thing of cheese with corn and some spring onions that I added on top. It also has mayonnaise as well. I really like spring onions, so I would have added more. For the purposes of completeness, I'm gonna take another bite just to make sure that it is as good as I think it is. It's just really, really hot, so you gotta be really careful when you eat this. Oh, and of course you can add additional items into your cheesy corn mixture. I added chopped onions and capsicum into my first attempt at the Korean corn cheese, but I didn't use the right cheese. I used a bag of mixed cheese. It had cheddar, mozzarella, and parmesan, and it just kind of turned out like this. So make sure you stick with mozzarella if you want it to be really stringy, really melty, and really cheesy. So before we move on to the next dish that's on this list, I want to quickly talk about our sponsor for today, Squarespace. So I've started making Sydney guides on Squarespace, and in fact my first guide, it's a Sydney CBD guide on food and drinks, is now live. Link in my description if you want to check it out. They're drag and drop templates, make it super easy to create pages, and you can also share your content pretty easily on platforms like Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter. It's also pretty simple to create a mailing list. You just need to drag and drop. I also have an email list called Sydney Insiders, which you can join if you want to keep up to date with new guides and articles and potential discounts on my favorite food spots. So whether you're looking to build a professional website for your business, or you're looking to turn your idea into a reality, build it with Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JaniceFung to save on your first purchase. Okay, now we move on to the next item that's on this list. This time, for our third dish for this video, we are making a Hong Kong cafe classic. It's called Sop Mai Yok Lap Fan. Essentially, it translates to corn and meat rice. It's something that I remember when I used to go to school in Hong Kong, and you get like a piece of paper where you can mark what you want for lunch every day, like you order in. Sop Mai Yok Lap Fan is always an option on your lunch sheet, and I always chose it when I saw it. And it's actually really simple to make. You just need some sort of, you can use pork, you can use chicken. I've got pork for this one. And then you've got like corn and cream corn, and it's easy and delicious. I've actually got some rice on the stovetop right now because I don't have a rice cooker yet, but I've mastered the art of making rice on a stovetop. So this is cooking. We're gonna marinate some pork right now. And yeah, okay, let's get to making this corn and pork rice. So what you need is some marinated meat, some creamed corn, some canned corn, and some spring onions, and of course rice. So for this dish, I got myself 300 grams of pork, and you can start by cubing it like this before putting it into a bowl and doing a quick marinade. I added a tablespoon of sesame oil, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of soy sauce before mixing it up all together and then just letting it rest for about 15 minutes. Then add some oil to a pan and first cook up your pork cubes. And while you're at it, check on your rice to make sure everything is a-okay. Once that's cooked, add in your can of creamed corn and then fill the can up with water, mix in the remaining canned corn that's sort of stuck around the edges and add that back into the pan as well. Give this a good stir and then add half a can of your corn kernels in, more if you want more corn. Once you let that simmer in a little bit, take an egg and add this egg in and then quickly stir it into the mixture. Now, depending on how thick you'd like the consistency to be, you can add in another egg, which is my preference, and it just makes the mixture a little bit denser and a little bit thicker. Okay, at first we were only going to use one egg, but my sister wants the sauce to be thick, so we're adding another egg in. And once you've mixed it all in, add some salt and pepper to taste, and your pork in corn is pretty much done. Add in your rice. Put a generous amount of this, add some spring onions on top, and there you have it, an extremely simple but tasty dish that goes so well with rice. All right, my corn and pork rice is now done. I added some spring onions on top because I love spring onions. I would usually add it to the entire pork and corn mixture, but my sister doesn't like spring onions, so I have to add it after the fact. Anyway. This is pretty good. Yeah. I don't think I need more saltiness. I don't think this is the most traditional way to make it. I know that some people make the sauce on the side and don't just throw everything into a pan, but this is just a really easy and simple way to make something that tastes pretty good. So if you like it, I'll put all my ingredients and directions in my description if you want to check it out. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with my dinner for tonight. If you do try it, let me know how you like it. Let me know what your favorite protein for this is, because the really popular ones are either pork, chicken, or fish. Okay, I'm gonna finish this and then we're gonna move on to the next dish that's on this list. All right, next up is something that's very easy to make. You can probably put it together in all of 5 minutes, but I still wanted to put it on this list because it's still pretty tasty. You can have it when friends are over, you can have it by yourself, you can have it on its own with some corn chips, or you can have it in a taco. It is a corn salsa, and this is what you're gonna need. This is really simple to make, so I'll keep it short. Chop up your tomatoes like this, dice up your jalapeños. I took the seed out and I still found this pretty hot, but if you like it spicy, keep the seeds in. Then dice up half a red onion. This was really satisfying to cut. Then chop up some coriander. This stuff and spring onions are my favorite, and then add your corn. I added about half a can into this. Then grab a lime, roll it a little bit because apparently this makes it easier to juice. Then slice it, squeeze it onto your mixture before adding in some salt and pepper. Mix it around, and there we have it, your corn salsa in less than 3 minutes. All right, and this is my corn salsa with red onions, tomatoes, coriander, some jalapeno peppers, lime juice, salt and pepper. Something about the combination of these ingredients and the addition of lime, it just makes it feel like summer. This would be very nice with a beer as well. All right, last but definitely not least, next up on our list is a type of soup. It's like a Chinese chicken and corn soup. Now this kind of soup is nowhere near as great as the broth that my mum makes with like pork bones, and they usually take like 2 to 3 hours to make. This is like a very easy soup. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to make. It's pretty delicious. It's nice to have on its own, or you can have it with rice, or you know, it's just easy to make and quick, and this is what you're gonna need. First, open up a pack of chicken stock and pour it into a pot. Chop up some spring onions and mince up some garlic and add it to your chicken stock. Then add in a chicken thigh fillet or 2 if you want more chicken meat in this. By the way, if you don't like garlic, you don't have to add it in. I'm just a fan of it, hence why I'm adding it in mine. Anyway, afterwards, slice up a couple slices of ginger and let it boil. Now, once your chicken is done, take it out and shred it down. Then grab your can of creamed corn and add about 3/4 of it into your broth. And then add your shredded chicken back into it. Afterwards, crack an egg and whisk it, and once that's done, add it to your broth and stir quickly so you can get egg ribbons throughout your broth. If you want to add another egg, go for it. I just went with 1 for my soup this time round. And once it looks like this, it's pretty much done and it's ready to be consumed. Okay, this is the last thing on this list, and what we have is the soup. It's actually really, really hot. Okay. I added a lot of spring onions, but it's because I really like it. Okay. You can get this at Chinese restaurants. Yeah. But instead of getting it at Chinese restaurants, now you can make it yourself. It's not bad at all. I like my mom's soup better though. Anyway, I am gonna finish the rest of this soup off. I'm gonna leave some for my sister for tomorrow morning. And that is pretty much the end of this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much for watching till the end. I post new videos every week. Check them out if you have time. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know if there's a particular ingredient that you want me to make a series of different like recipes for. I post new videos every week. Check them out if you have time. Have an amazing rest of the week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Eat this as is, like everything is. It's not bad.